Hardly a day goes by without some news of some breach happening somewhere in the world. And what is more worrisome is that just about anything, including critical state infrastructure, power grids, manufacturing plants, and even medical facilities, are potential targets for hackers. The irony of it all is that these hackers are getting smarter and bolder by the day, and it looks like nothing can really stop them. Well, today I have decided to feature an ethical hacker on today's edition of the show, whose duty it is to enlighten us on issues around cybersecurity and how best one can stay protected. Meet Adedayo Adesanya, who is the head of technology at Global Virtual, currently West Africa's only Red Hat certified trainer instructor. Welcome to Tech Trends.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, we're talking about security.
Right.
And but let's start with this.
Okay.
Who is an ethical hacker?
An ethical hacker is just somebody that does good stuff with his knowledge of hacking. You know, hacking itself is not a bad thing, but I mean, we've been able to liken hacking to something bad, getting into things, into devices and into networks in an unauthorized way. So an ethical hacker is somebody that will use that for good, help you unveil all your loopholes before the bad guys get to it.
But he's still a hacker.
Yeah, pretty much. He's still a hacker, but a good one.
Oh, all right. Okay, so, but the question is, if the ethical hacker becomes unethical at any point in time, who stops him? Is there anything that prevents him from being unethical at some point?
Oh, right. This question would have different answers from different parts of the world. It depends on what cyber laws that you have available. You know, generally, an ethical hacker should not go out of his way to just do any sort of hacking. There's a code of conduct. As an ethical hacker, what you're meant to do is help organizations, help governments, help these people from getting attacks from bad hackers. So you're supposed to do something we call penetration testing and unveil their loopholes to them. Also, you're not allowed to do that on your own. They're meant to give you a legal document sort of that empowers you to do that on their behalf. So either you're ethical or not, if you go ahead without having a project charter from your client, then you're liable to be prosecuted by the law. Okay,
cybersecurity. What's the relationship between this aspect of the profession, ethical hacking or ethical hacker, with cybersecurity?
Well, cybersecurity is more like an area of ethical hacking as well. In the whole ethical hacking career, cybersecurity is part of the things that you get to learn. So cybersecurity, the cyberspace is just one area in the whole body of hacking. Because I mean, you know that there are lots of hacking that you can do without having to need access to the internet, or you can hack devices as well. We even hack human beings. You know, that's true. Human beings. We call that social engineering. And that's what Nigerians term as 419 in quotes. But this is doing it in a more professional way, and you have all the professional jargons in place and likes. So,
considering the fact that Nigeria is largely an analog nation, do you think we're in danger at this point in time?
Yes, I won't totally agree that Nigeria is in an analog as an analog nation.
Yes, but apart from the banks and a few multinationals and companies, most of our government establishments are still analog, largely.
Yeah, but these few stakeholders they have mentioned are major players in the building of the Nigerian economy. They affect the economy in some way, right? So if they are digital and the other part of that you're talking about is analog, and we're still not giving as much attention to the digital area as much as possible, then we're still losing a lot.
But do you think we're threatened at this point?
Well, they say what you don't know don't kill you, right? So we might feel we're not threatened, but we're being bullied in the cyberspace worldwide because we have no idea what's going on out there. These other countries are having cyber wars and likes. They have cyber army and all of that. So what is Nigeria doing about that? I mean, for crying out loud, they might be having some electronic espionage going on and watching all about everything we do, and we don't know.
But how bad is it?
Well, I can't.
Based on your experience? Based
on my experience, I think it's really bad. It's really bad. But I don't have access to some government systems or banking systems and likes for me to be able to do proper risk assessment. But I mean, from my general knowledge, I know it's really bad.
You know, a fellow ethical hacker once told me that sometimes when we experience a cut in maybe our internet facility, like it could be as a result of some hacking taking place somewhere. How true is that?
Yeah, that's very possible. That could be a DOS attack. DOS means denial of service. And how does that happen? Some set of hackers just sit down somewhere and then they send thousands and thousands of pings to a particular server. It's too much for the server to handle. The server gets overwhelmed and it drops. You know, so you can always have things like that happen. I mean, but not all the time that it might be a cyber attack. It might be as a result of power failure or any other thing. But I mean, it's very possible. The ethical hacker told you rightly.
First, let's look at, as a nation, what should we be doing to ensure that we are not bullied, like you said, in the cyber world?
How about making sure that we have a proper network security agency or network security department in this government?
There's NIDA. NIDA has something like that, cyber response.
Yeah, possibly. But truthfully, I don't know how deep they are, and I don't know how. I mean, we've experienced certain different hacking attacks in Nigeria. One happened during the election, and that the INEC front page was brought down for a little bit.
Even though they claimed that nothing happened.
No, it was brought down for a little bit, but the response rate was very fast. Very fast. I'd commend them for that. But I mean, it still happened in the long run. So although you can never be 100% safe, but we need to do more so that these things do not happen often.
Okay, so individuals, what do you think individuals should be doing to at least be safe to an extent?
Yeah, individuals, like I always tell people, be careful. Be careful, pay attention to details. Anything that looks too good to be true is probably too good to be true. You understand? So, I mean, these things happen mostly on social media and likes. And also, there is this cyber attack that happens with men a lot in Nigeria, in the sense that there's something we call steganography. That's when you hide something bad behind something good. This is something good, you put something bad behind it, right? So you put like a malicious code behind maybe just a picture, and then most of the time it's a very attractive picture of a lady. So a guy sends it to another guy by email. Say, see this lady, see how she's dressed, blah 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 blah. I mean, maybe he opens the email in the office and he would open that, and immediately the software hidden behind that JPEG begins to extract itself and begins to change registry keys and doing whatever it wants to do.
That is the point I want you to talk about for businesses. So a business is usually a network of computers.
Yes, please.
And then I'm a part of the business, and then I allow that code get into the network through my computer. How would a business spot that when that happens?
Well, if you have network security experts within your firm, or you have certain security tools, some certain types of antiviruses, and maybe some network security tools in general. I don't want to begin to mention names here or selling any particular brand. You also need to talk to a consultant so that he's able to help you deploy the right network security tool for you, because there are times that you have the security up and efficiency is down, productivity is down. You know, the security is pretty much dropping all the productivity that you're meant to have. It's likened to you having a guard in your house, and you tell the guard, nobody comes to visit me. And then even when your father or your mother comes, he denies them access as well. You know, so that's what we're talking about. You need to talk to a consultant and make sure that you have all these things done properly.
Dayo, I've noticed that one of the greatest challenges that people have is the fact that their emails get tampered with. Why is that the case?
First of all, like I always say, the cheapest way for the hackers to get across to you is emails. And with that, they can reach hundreds of thousands of people. They have places on the web that they can harvest emails like that. There's a black market where people harvest emails and then just sell to hackers. So with that, they can really get across to hundreds of thousands of people at the same time, and they're not even expecting positive responses from more than 5 people. So if it's more than 5, it's an advantage for them. So for me, with your emails, you just need to be extra careful. Your email provider might be able to help you separate some spam, right? Also, it can never be 100% efficient. So you need to pay extra attention. If your email is telling you to click a particular link, then you need to be careful and try to trace where that email came from before you do that.
You just mentioned something very interesting, which is the black market or the dark web.
Yeah.
So how do I know if my information is there, and how do I get it out?
Well, you can never know everything that's on the internet, number one. Number two, a lot of us put a lot of stuff on social media, a lot of stuff, so from there people can pretty much, gather a lot about you. I mean, if just knowing your name and surname alone, I can Google you up, get your email address, get your Facebook details, read a little bit about you, check out your family members, and that's a very good tool. We call that reconnaissance, as passive reconnaissance. I'm not having direct contact with you, but I'm gathering information about you, and then that's a very good tool for social engineering, to call you and tell you all sorts.
So are you recommending that we should avoid social media?
No, I've not said you should avoid social media. All I'm saying is try to limit the amount of information you put up there, number one. Number two, use all the security features that are being provided for you on each of the social media platforms. I mean, you have privacy tools and likes that you can use as well. So use them and limit how much information that you put out there. The information that is not really needed on there shouldn't really be on there.
Thank you for coming on Tech Trend today.
Thanks for having me, Fred.
We'll sure have you back again.
It'll be my pleasure to come back.
All right, you heard that it is possible to be an ethical hacker in Nigeria, and then Dio says that security is important for both national and for individuals. We'll be right back after this. On our Tech News segment today, we have the first question coming in from Musa, who is asking why he sees a whitish icon showing on his laptop. Well, Musa, my guess would be that you are using a Windows, and that will be a notification offering you an upgrade to the much awaited Microsoft 10. So it won't be a bad idea for you to take up the offer. But it's important to know that this is a different environment, as most OEMs are now moving to the cloud. What this simply means is that in the future, you may be required to pay for certain services that you have always enjoyed for free. Question 2, he says, I can't seem to upgrade to the most recent version of Android. What is responsible? That's Leo via Twitter. Now, Leo, I would say that the reason is both simple and complex. Android is an open source platform, and what you find is that a lot of OEMs, which is another name for phone manufacturers, usually tweak it real hard in order to make it unique to the environment. If you desperately want the latest version, then I suggest you take your phone to a service center and have them wipe out the current version and reinstall the most recent version. Otherwise, you have to wait until your OEM releases an upgrade. I look forward to receiving more of these questions through our email or social media, and we'll do our best to answer as many as possible. I think computer viruses should count as life. I think it says something about human nature, that the only form of life we have created so far is purely destructive. We have created life in our own image. Now, this is coming from Stephen Hawking. I personally don't know what to make of this quote, except that the man understands technology real well, and maybe he has a point. Remember, you can watch this edition of the show on the channel's TV YouTube page. My name is Chukwemeka Agbata. Until I come your way again next week, think innovation.